Have you ever noticed what happens in the first few minutes of your day? You're lying there, holding your phone, mindlessly scrolling through your feed, when a firm voice arises from within. Get up, the day is waiting for you. There are important things to be done. But before you can act, another voice, softer and more seductive, pulls you back. Just a little longer. It's so comfortable here. And in that instant, without even realizing it, the first battle of the day begins. The Bhagavad Gita warns us about these silent wars, not the ones fought with weapons or shouts, but the internal struggles that define who we truly are. It is the eternal conflict between two forces, the side that urges you to evolve, to conquer your fears, and to live aligned with your purpose, and the side that lures you with shortcuts, that craves comfort, and acts out of fear of trying and failing. While you hesitate, distractions are winning. Every notification on your phone, every doubt creeping into your mind, every excuse, it all conspires to keep you trapped in a reality that isn't yours. But what should you do with this truth? That is what we're about to uncover, because you are not here by accident. Every decision you make, every internal battle you face, is a chance to reconnect with who you truly are. And when you discover your purpose, something extraordinary happens. The chaos around you starts to make sense. After all, every single day, you are the battlefield. And the question is, which side will win? Do you think your day begins when you open your eyes? Wrong. Your day starts the moment you decide who's going to take charge of your life, your inner strength or the distractions that dominate you. It's not the alarm clock that gets you out of bed, nor the responsibilities waiting for you outside. It's your mind, this mysterious terrain where even the simplest decisions carry profound consequences. Do you realize what's happening at that moment? That's when the war begins, a war that's invisible but relentless. The Bhagavad Gita calls this the inner battle. And here's the most curious part. Many people have already lost before they even start. Now think, how many times have you let yourself be deceived by the idea that you have all the time in the world? Those just 5 more minutes are never just 5 minutes. They are the first sign of surrender. And this isn't just about getting out of bed or not. It's about the pattern you set for the rest of your day. If you allow yourself to give in during the first battle, why would it be different for the ones that follow? The Bhagavad Gita teaches us that the mind can be your greatest friend or your worst enemy. But here's the part no one tells you. You decide which role it plays. And let's be honest, deciding takes effort, and most people would rather avoid the confrontation. And you know what's even more unsettling? The battle never ends. There's no truce. With every decision, responding or ignoring, acting or waiting, committing or giving up, you're choosing a side. And no, this isn't an exaggeration. It's reality. Think about that moment when you felt the urge to do something important, but a quiet voice whispered, "This can wait. It's not urgent." That's not a mere distraction. It's a test, a reminder that your mind, as powerful as it is unstable, craves comfort, not growth. This is why Krishna teachings warn us, mastering the mind is the key to unlocking your true inner power. But here's the big secret, and it might disturb you. Winning this battle isn't about fighting your mind. It's about understanding how it works. Because the more you resist those voices, the more they control you. The answer lies in observing, not reacting. The Bhagavad Gita shows us that this internal struggle is in fact an invitation to self-mastery. Every choice, no matter how small, brings you closer to or further from your higher self. And here's the fascinating part. This internal war is just a reflection of something far greater, something tied to the very dilemma Arjuna faced on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. What would you do if you were faced with an impossible choice? Not something simple, but a dilemma that challenges everything you believe and value. That's the position Arjuna found himself in on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, as described in the Bhagavad Gita. But don't be mistaken, this isn't just a story of a distant war in the East. That battlefield exists within you. Every time you hesitate, every moment you're torn between doing what's right and taking the easier path, between following your purpose or giving in to fear, you are standing on your own Kurukshetra. This war isn't fought with swords or bows, but through silent decisions that shape your life. Now reflect. How many times have you felt like the weight of the world was on your shoulders? Arjuna hesitated because he saw friends and family on the opposing side, but your hesitation comes from different places. Maybe it's the criticism of someone close to you, the fear of failure, or the paralysis that comes with difficult choices. Have you noticed how these fears control you? At first glance, they seem harmless, but they're like invisible chains keeping you stuck in place. Krishna teachings reveal that the true enemy isn't out there. It lives within you. It's fear that blocks your ability to manifest change, raise your vibration, and live in alignment with your purpose. But the most fascinating part is what happens when you confront this dilemma. The Bhagavad Gita shows us that conflict isn't the end. It's the beginning of something transformative. When Arjuna dared to listen to Krishna's guidance, he realized he wasn't just a warrior fighting for an external cause. He was a spiritual being having a human experience, called to follow his life purpose. And you? Are you listening to what your inner battle is trying to teach you? Perhaps every doubt, every conflict is in truth a hidden opportunity to grow spiritually and connect with your higher self. And what if I told you that this inner war doesn't need to be won? Yes, that might sound counterintuitive, but it's the crux of it all. Krishna didn't ask Arjuna to eliminate fear, but to act despite it. That's the essence of self-mastery. It's not about silencing your emotions or erasing your doubts, but understanding that they are parts of you, parts that need to be integrated, not eliminated. Because the moment you act, even with fear beside you, you uncover something far greater, the power to transform your reality. And this is where the concept of Dharma steps in, guiding your choices through the chaos. Here's a secret few truly understand. Your life has never been without direction. Even when you feel lost, disconnected, or trapped in routines that seem to go nowhere, something deeper has been guiding your every step. That something is your Dharma. But don't be mistaken, Dharma isn't a final destination or some abstract concept. It's the very essence of your being, the silent call that pulses within you, even when the world around you is chaotic. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna teachings describe Dharma as the compass that aligns the spirit to a higher purpose, a force that transcends the ego and connects you to the whole. But how do you find your Dharma amid constant noise? The first step is understanding that Dharma isn't about what you do, but who you are while doing it. Every choice, every action, no matter how small, carries your spiritual signature. Think of a doctor who heals bodies but feels unfulfilled because they neglect their soul, or an artist who finds peace in creating, even without external recognition. Dharma isn't a career. It's the alignment between what you do and what your soul craves. This is the key to mindful living, acting in harmony with your purpose, even if no one else understands it. And if you think discovering your Dharma requires isolation or a mystical epiphany, you're mistaken. Dharma is present in the smallest things. It reveals itself when you act with integrity, even in the face of adversity. It shows up when you take the harder path because deep down, You know it's the right one. Krishna explained to Arjuna that avoiding the call of Dharma is worse than failing to follow it. It's like ignoring your compass in a stormy sea, hoping the current will take you somewhere safe. But in reality, the current only drags you further from your purpose. And here's the most fascinating part. Your Dharma isn't fixed. It evolves as you do. At every stage of life, it shifts, adapts, but it never disappears. And when you finally follow it, something extraordinary happens. Distractions lose their grip, fears dissipate, and the feeling of being lost is replaced by clarity. But pay attention. Finding your Dharma isn't the end of the journey. It's just the beginning. Because living in alignment with it requires focus, strength, and the ability to resist the countless traps that try to pull you away from your purpose. And those traps, they're everywhere. Distractions are cunning. They don't arrive with big announcements or alarms, but as tempting whispers, promises of temporary relief that, before you realize it, steal hours, days, years. And the most unsettling part? They don't seem like villains. Social media, constant comparisons, the need to stay busy, these all disguise themselves as normal, even necessary. But these traps are far from harmless. They pull you away from your Dharma, block your connection to your higher self, and trap your mind in cycles that keep you from fulfilling the purpose you were destined to live. Think about it. Have you ever started something important only to be interrupted by a notification or an intrusive thought? At first, it seems insignificant, but every interruption is a small crack in your attention. That's how distractions work, fragmenting your energy, weakening your focus, and distorting your vision of what truly matters. The Bhagavad Gita teaches us that distractions are tools of the lower self, which fears your spiritual evolution. The more you give in to them, the harder it becomes to hear the call of Dharma. And here's the most insidious part. Distractions often look like opportunities. So, how do you escape? Krishna teachings show us that the way out isn't to fight distractions, but to observe where they come from. Ask yourself, why do I feel the need to check my phone every 5 minutes? Why do I constantly compare myself to others? Why do I put off what truly matters? The answers aren't on the surface, but within your inner world. That's where distractions originate. They feed on the fear of failure, insecurity, and the need for validation. Identifying these roots is the first step to overcoming them and reclaiming your energy. But overcoming distractions isn't enough. You need to replace them with something greater. Krishna teaches that conscious action, the yoga of action, is the antidote. When you fill your time with actions aligned with your life purpose, distractions lose their power. This doesn't mean living a rigid or joyless life, but prioritizing what nourishes your soul. Each time you resist a distraction, every conscious choice, it's as if you're refining your vibration, raising your frequency. Yet here lies the real challenge, hearing what lies beyond the noise. And for that, you'll need to learn to recognize the call. There's a truth few recognize. The call of Dharma is never silent. It whispers, sometimes it shouts, but you'll only hear it when the noise of distractions fades away. This call doesn't come from outside, but from a deep place where your essence connects to your higher self. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna teaches that hearing this call requires one thing many avoid: silence. Not external silence, but inner stillness. The kind that only arises when you allow yourself to stop, observe, and listen. But how do you achieve that in such a chaotic world? The first step is simple, yet transformative. Slow down. There are no shortcuts to accessing your essence. Inner stillness is like a field that needs to be cultivated with patience. Practices like meditation, mindfulness, or even moments of introspection at the start or end of your day can open this connection. Think of it as tuning a radio to the right frequency. At first, you might only hear static, thoughts, worries, but if you persist, the message becomes clear. It's in this state that the call of Dharma begins to reveal itself, guiding you toward what truly matters. If you believe the call will come as a grand revelation, prepare to be surprised. It doesn't manifest in grand words or spectacular visions. Often it's hidden in the simple choices of daily life. It's that sense of peace when you do something that resonates with your soul, or the discomfort when you stray from your path. Krishna teachings remind us that the call of Dharma isn't something to be attained, but something to be remembered. It's already within you, waiting for you to create the space to hear it. The question is, are you willing to do that? But hearing the call is just the beginning. What comes next is the real test. When Dharma reveals itself, it demands action. Acting on this call means facing fears, letting go of expectations, and embracing the unknown. It's a path that won't always be comfortable, but it will be authentic, and that's what makes it powerful. The Bhagavad Gita teaches that when you hear and follow the call, the universe conspires in your favor. Everything around you starts to align, but only if you take the first step, and that step requires courage. After all, the call won't wait forever. Knowing your Dharma means nothing if you don't act on it. Here's the greatest secret few are willing to reveal. The call of purpose only comes alive when it is turned into action. Krishna, in the Bhagavad Gita, emphasizes that it's not thinking or planning that moves mountains, but the act of doing, of taking the first step. But here lies the dilemma. How do you act when the fear of failure paralyzes you? How do you move forward when doubt whispers that maybe you're not enough? The answer lies in the concept of nishkama karma, acting without attachment to the results. It sounds counterintuitive, but it's liberating. Imagine a life where you act out of love for the process, not for the promise of a reward. Picture a writer who pours their heart into their work without worrying about whether it will be celebrated, or an educator who teaches simply because they love seeing others grow, not for recognition. When you let go of the obsession with results, something extraordinary happens. You enter a state of flow where your actions align with your higher self. Krishna teachings call this the yoga of action, the perfect balance between effort and detachment. And here's the most intriguing part. It's in this state that you manifest what once seemed impossible. But acting with purpose takes more than courage. It takes discipline. Even when you know what needs to be done, the mind will find ways to distract you. It will create excuses, fears, and resistance. That's why the Bhagavad Gita teaches that the true warrior isn't the one who conquers the world, but the one who conquers themselves. To act in alignment with your Dharma, you must transform every moment into a conscious choice. This doesn't mean living without mistakes or failure. It means being willing to continue even when the path feels uncertain or challenging. And here's the most fascinating part. When you act with purpose, the universe responds. Small signs, coincidences, and opportunities begin to appear as if something greater is aligning everything around you. But this alignment only happens if you take the first step. Because Dharma isn't passive, it demands movement, transformation, and evolution. The Bhagavad Gita doesn't promise it will be easy, but it guarantees it will be meaningful. And when you start living this way, you realize that even chaos can be navigated. After all, Dharma is the compass that guides every action, even through the storms of modern life. We live in a world where everything feels urgent, where the noise of daily demands drowns out even your deepest thoughts. Yet, amidst this chaos, there's a path that never wavers, even when you're distracted, the Dharmic path. The Bhagavad Gita reminds us that no matter how chaotic the external world may be, Dharma is like a guiding star, constant and unwavering. And here's the great mystery: chaos isn't the enemy. It's the stage where you prove your ability to follow this higher purpose, even when everything seems to conspire to pull you off course. Think about how the responsibilities of daily life can feel like a prison. Endless work, the expectations of others, the fear of not being enough. Have you noticed how these challenges, though they seem insurmountable, can be transformed into opportunities? Krishna teachings show us that Dharma isn't about avoiding chaos, but about finding balance within it. When you act with intention, even the most difficult situations become lessons. Every challenge is like a stone in your path, but it can also be the foundation for something greater, something aligned with your higher self. And what if I told you that chaos might actually be the force that pushes you into alignment? That might sound contradictory, but it's exactly what the Bhagavad Gita reveals. It's in discomfort, doubt, and conflict that you discover the strength to act consciously. While many fight against chaos, those who follow the Dharmic path learn to flow with it, to use it as fuel for growth. This doesn't mean accepting suffering, but finding meaning within it. When you align with your Dharma, even storms can be navigated with clarity. But don't be mistaken. Walking this path takes courage. It requires questioning conventions, abandoning the endless chase for external validation, and trusting your inner compass. Yet, this isn't a solitary journey. The Bhagavad Gita reminds us that by following the Dharmic path, you connect to something greater, something that transcends the individual. Chaos may be the noise, but Dharma is the melody, and every step you take on this path not only transforms your life, but also elevates the vibration around you. So what will it be? Will you continue living adrift, letting distractions win, or start listening to the voice that's always been there, guiding you towards something greater? The choice is yours. But remember, the call of Dharma is persistent but not eternal. Every day that passes is an opportunity that won't return. So what will you do with this knowledge now? Could today be the day you finally decide to align with your purpose and transform your reality? I can't answer that for you, but I can guarantee one thing. The answers you're looking for aren't out there. They're within you, waiting for you to take the first step. And perhaps, just perhaps, that step could be the beginning of a journey that will change everything.